Hey y'all, my name's Mare. Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be focused on book recommendations or books that I want to read off of Amazon Prime. So if you don't know, if you have Amazon Prime, there are a ton of books that you can actually read for free, meaning it's included with your membership. There's a lot of really great book recommendations on there, a lot that I've already read from. You can check out 10 books at any time and you can hold on to them for as long as you would like, as long as you have that subscription. And I would definitely recommend checking out any titles that you're interested in because the selection does rotate periodically. So if you see something, grab it, and then once you've read it, then return it to check out more books. So I've divided this list into 3 separate categories with 2 to 3 book recommendations for each. The first is going to be romance, the second will be fantasy, and the third will be mystery and thriller. So if you're interested in a specific genre, I will leave timestamps in the description for you to skip ahead to. Our first title is Flawless by Elsie Silver. Now this is a very popular book that I've seen all over booktube and has been one that has definitely been on my radar for a while. And what I love about this book being included on Prime Reading is that book 3 in the series, Powerless, is also available to you as well. Flawless by Elsie Silver follows Rhett and Summer, and Rhett is a bull rider who's kind of going through a PR crisis from my understanding, and Summer is sent in to babysit him. There were a couple simple rules, and of course they were meant to be broken as the synopsis suggests. So I'm excited to read this one as it just has amazing reviews, and if I like it, then I will read the other books in the series as well. The second book on this list is My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, and if you know me, you know that this is probably the book on this list that I am the most excited about. I love Tessa Bailey. She just does it for me every single time. I know what I'm gonna get when I pick up a Tessa Bailey book, right? I'm gonna get that alpha male, I'm gonna get some super fun, ridiculous plot, and it's gonna be a good time, and that's exactly what My Killer Vacation sounds like. So this book follows a brash bounty hunter and an elementary school teacher as they try and solve a murder. So this follows our protagonist as she and her brother go to Cape Cod for a holiday, and when they show up to their rental, they find a dead body, and our main character thinks that she could be really helpful in solving this case as she listens to a lot of true crime podcasts. But of course the bounty hunter that she's teaming up with does not want her to tag along. So I think this is another one that is dislike to love, and it just sounds like a fun time. I'm super into it. I think this is one that I want to read more towards the summer or towards the fall season, just because it has more of like those thriller vibes, but it sounds great. I love the idea of a mystery thriller turning into a romance. Like that's pretty fun, right? It's different. The third book on this list and the last romance is The Chemistry of Love by Sariah Wilson. I was recently introduced to this author when I read her novella Royal Valentine, and I read it for one of my previous videos, which I'll link in the cards if you're interested on my thoughts. I didn't love the novella that I read by her, but I did really enjoy the writing, so I'm interested to see what she could do in a full-length novel. So that's kind of why this one has recently shot up on my radar. So The Chemistry of Love follows Anna, who is a cosmetics chemist, and she is hopelessly in love with her boss, the CEO Craig. However, she is kind of enrolled in an experiment with his brother Marco, and the two of them have an experiment to see if she can make his half-brother jealous, and if they fall in love in the process, who can mess with science, right? I'm excited to explore more by Sariah Wilson. I liked her writing style. I thought it was very effortless and easy to read, so this one will hopefully be a good book that I can recommend to you guys in the future. Now we're moving on to fantasy, of which I have 2 YA titles, the first of which is The Storm Crow. Now this is one that I did attempt to read probably a year and a half ago. At this point I got about halfway through, and it was not for the lack of the book being good that I did not finish it. I was just in a terrible reading slump, and the only way that I was reading it was when I was really bored on my phone with nothing else to do. So that is why I did not finish it, but it is one that I definitely want to come back to. I recently read Crown of Feathers, and the vibes of that book definitely reminded me a lot of The Storm Crow, so I want to go back and finish that. This one follows Princess Tia, who lives in an empire that was attacked, and all of the crow eggs were destroyed by the empire. And this is devastating because her culture revolves around crow riders. She was always destined to be one, and now it turns out that she can't. However, she finds an egg one day of a crow, and so she begins to hatch it. So this one just sounds super fun as well. This one's a duology. The second YA fantasy on this list is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken, which for some reason I have just never read, but this is of course a series that has always interested me. I read Lore by Alexandra Bracken and I fell in love, so I definitely want to read more of her works, and I feel like this would be a great place to start. In The Darkest Mind, there is a mysterious disease going around affecting children that is giving them strange powers. Our main character, Ruby, has escaped being found out that she has these powers. However, when she's 16, the truth comes out and it turns her on the run. So this one, I believe, has a TV show as well, so I'd definitely be interested in watching that after reading it. But if you've read this series, let me know if you like it, because I really want to read more by Alexandra Bracken soon. Now we've come to our last category, which is the mystery thrillers, of which I have 2 recommendations to share with you guys. The first is going to be The Inmate by Freida McFadden, who I feel like has been everywhere in the book community recently due to The Housemaid just blowing up in popularity. I did read The Housemaid and I enjoyed it, so I definitely want to read more by Freida McFadden in the future, and I feel like this is the work that most excites me by her. If you are interested in reading more of her books as well, there are others on Amazon Prime reading as well. It's The X and Want to Know a Secret that are also available on there, so if you want to do a deep dive into her work, there are definitely options for you, but this is the one that I'm the most excited about. This one follows Brooke Sullivan as she becomes a new nurse practitioner at a prison. Now, there are of course rules that all of these nurses have to follow at this top security prison, and they all know not to get too close to the inmates there. However, Brooke is already familiar with one of the inmates, Shane. He's one of the most notorious and dangerous inmates there, and he was also Brooke's high school sweetheart. I'm excited to read this one. It feels like it'll be messy and campy and just an interesting time. Last on this list is 20 Years Later, and this is one that was not previously on my radar. I was actually doing research for this video, and of course I had a long list of books that I already wanted to read off of Prime Reading, but I was really lacking in the thriller category, so I was kind of digging around and I saw this one on there, and I was very surprised to see how popular it was because I had never heard of it, and the synopsis definitely sounds really intriguing, so I do really want to read this soon. 20 Years Later follows a TV reporter who's trying to solve a crime from 20 years prior, and to understand what is happening in the current day, the book takes you back to the past. There's new evidence that has come out from the case due to new technology, and so they're able to identify one of the victims from the 9/11 attacks, whose name is Victoria. However, there is a twist to this. Victoria has been accused of the gruesome murder of her partner. We also follow Victoria's sister, Emma, who has really been trying to get the truth about Victoria to come out because she doesn't want to put her to rest until her name has been cleared. This one sounds very puzzle piecey. I like the fact that we're going to be going back from past to present, and it looks like it has some pretty good reviews on Goodreads. So I'm glad that I found this one in my research for this video. So those are all of my books that I really want to read off of Prime Reading. Please let me know if you've read any of these. If you use Prime Reading, I would love to know as well, because I feel like it's something that does not really get talked about on booktube. I know a lot of people use Kindle Unlimited, but that is an additional paid service, whereas if you already have Amazon Prime, you can utilize this service for free, which is really fantastic. So I already use Prime. it's no brainer. I'm just going to read the free books on there as well. I'm not going to go necessarily purchase Amazon Prime just so I can access the book collection, but it is a really great benefit of having this service. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know. I have a ton of books that I actually want to read off of Prime Reading, so this list is by no means comprehensive. I can definitely do a part 2 if you guys are interested in that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to support my channel, definitely like this video, it really helps, as well as leave a comment down below, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye y'all!